You're on.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the July 25th meeting of the Pequannock Township Council. Ms. Marsh?
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Suburban Trends newspapers, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with Township policy.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks for individuals serving our nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and general welfare for all the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
Okay, Carol, can you please do the roll call?
Mr. Hurd is absent. Mr. Cole?
Here.
Mr. Phelan?
Here.
Ms. Winterfield?
Here.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, first item on the agenda is presentations, and we have two representatives here from FinCredit, Carmine DeFalco, come on up, and Dan Scavone from FinCredit. They are going to kind of give us a overview of the tax reward program.
Mayor, can I distribute?
You sure can, thank you. Since, I guess, its inception and how it's going along, and they will take questions from the council.
Thank you.
Here, I have an extra. These are all the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor. Thank you very much for inviting us to present tonight. My name is Carmine DeFalco. I'm with FinCredit, Inc. And tonight, Dennis Scavone is also here with us. He's also from FinCredit, Inc. We are the administrator of the Property Tax Rewards Program. You know, we had the program for the past 3 years in town, and this is pretty much a synopsis of how the program is done. Since inception, you would see that the sales utilizing the card amounted to $1.4 million for total credits to the community of $119,000. You will also see that the best year that we had was the one before the last at $29,000 credits to the homeowners and $4,000 credits to the renters/visitors. They receive a check at the end of the year. This year we did okay. We held our own. I believe we had credits of $27,000, altogether close to $30,000 when you include also the renters/visitors. The reason we had a little bit of a drop from 29.5 to 27 is because we did lose some customers have closed, some merchants have closed. We're thinking of 23 Buffet that was on 23. Also, Pizza Man left the program. You may recall that. They changed ownership. We are going to go back, hopefully, to get them back. And Nature's Pavilion left. And those are the reasons why we have lost some revenue. But at the end of the day, we have compensated that with some of the top merchants that have stepped up. You know, Bardi's being our largest producer of the program. But number of merchants today, we have 18 merchants. At the highest of the program, we had 28. We have a great retention rate of about 65%. But ideally, which for a reward program, 65% retention rate is fairly high. But ideally, we like to bring that number of 18 up to at least 22 or 23, which is not impossible because it's just a matter of going back out and talking to the merchants, new merchants in town and some of the merchants that know about the program but they never joined. The top 4 merchants are right here: Bardi's, Ameri's Pizza, Golden China, and Pequannock Automotive. And they represent roughly 71% of the revenue that the town has done with the card, of the $1.4 million over the course of the 3 years. Like any business, we are also subject to the 80-20 rule, where 80% of the business is done by 20% of the merchants, and that's what we have here, just about. Numbers of families. We have 1,700 families participating in the program, at least signed up in the program, and that is very good. It's on the higher end of the curve for the property tax. We have 23 townships that participate in the program, and I can tell you, usually it's anywhere between 30 to 35. So at 38, you guys really, hit a very nice spot at the top. So it's 38% of the population, just about, that participate in the program. The thing that we need to work on is utilization. This year, we had 627 families that basically earned credits. In the past, last year, we had 700, the year before 850. But you have noticed that the dollars earned per family has increased. That means that the people that are not using the card were the people that were making maybe $10 or $15, and we kept the higher end of the curve. In fact, as you can see, the number has increased from $28 per family to $54 per family. Now, the idea is to increase the number of people that spend money in town. It's not rocket science. We know what we need to do. We need marketing. We need some branding for the program. And the second page would see what we recommend, some of the things that we recommend, but we can talk some more about some of the other things that we can do. For instance, every town that we have, or most towns that we have, they put a flyer in the tax bill with the names of the merchants. That help our marketing too, because now we can go to merchants, hey, look what the township is doing. They're sending this flyer with the names of all the merchants to fill to 10,000 homes, or how many homes that you guys have? 8,000, I believe, in town. Street signs. I was driving down the turnpike now, and I saw these nice lamppost banners. Why not take advantage of that and put nice shop Pequannock, stay in town, earn property tax credits? Some of the towns have done that as well. We like to see a full page paper ads, 2-3 times, local paper, so it's not very expensive things. But for instance, for the holidays, some of the towns that put full page paper ads saying, hey, go to these merchants and you earn property tax credits. 2-3 times a year would be sufficient. I cannot imagine them costing a lot of money. And of course, social media. I'm a believer in Facebook and some of the other social media. You guys have a Pequannock page, a big Pequannock page, which is the EDC. I think we can work on that to make it more friendly for the program. Or in most of our towns, we have a specific Facebook page just for the program itself. Because what we do is we share all the posts of all the merchants that participate. When we share it on the Pequannock page, there's a lot more in there. There's just not that there are articles. If you know the page, there are a lot of articles, a lot of things that do not pertain to the local merchants, to the local community. And that's what we like to do with a Pequannock property tax reward card page. What we would recommend and what we have in most towns, and Danny can attest to that, we have a point person in town. A point person would be somebody that goes out, talks to merchants, then calls Danny and myself and say, by the way, I got the little cafe that wants to participate, call them up, this is the number, and we'll do the closing, of course. But at least somebody that goes out and starts talking to the merchants. We need somebody 2-3 hours a week tops, and not even every week, but somebody in charge, somebody that can be a point of reference. Right now, we don't have a real point of reference. Mayor, we talk to you a lot, but we do not have a person that calls us and says, hey, look who opened up, and we spoke to them already. They have the package. Please call them up. They may have an interest. And then we pick up the phone and we come up and we'll talk to them to close the deal. Yeah, so that's what we need.
Your contacts with that is usually myself or Louise, and that's about it.
Louise.
It's not done on a regular basis, just when...
That's right, just when there is a grand opening, there's a ribbon cutting ceremony. We don't get, and it's not Louis' fault or anybody, but we don't get the follow-up, hey, I spoke with them at the grand opening, and they're interested in it. Because in grand openings, a lot of things go on. Maybe it's not the right setting to talk to a merchant, but there should be something that is done. Like I said, follow-up. So, like I said, 2 hours a week from somebody in town will be perfect for us, for the program. What is FinCredit doing? Well, we'll do the usual thing. We'll do all the customer service. We'll maintain the platform. informed. We'll make sure that everything goes out. We do, people call us to register their cards when they don't have a computer. If they have a problem, we'll solve it for them. If a merchant has a problem, we'll come up, we'll change the machine. We'll be doing all of that. We don't come up to the township, so you don't see us a lot, but we're definitely in town. If it's not then, it's myself, but we come at least once a month, a couple of times a month. What we will do also, we'll be refreshing our web portal. We got some feedback, hey, make it more user-friendly, so we'll do that in the next 6 months. We'll provide the township with access to the back end. So you can go without even calling us, you can go in the back end and you know exactly how many merchants you have, how much have you been saving to the moment. So you will have access to our database, which is going to be just your environment, just Pequannock. And we are also creating a merchant's mobile app, so people can actually utilize an app to process transactions if that's the way they want to do it. We're kind of stepping up in the 21st century finally, but it took us a while, but I think we'll be doing all of this within the next 6 months. So that's about it, really, as a synopsis about the program. We are pleased with the performance. Can we do better? Of course, we can always do better. But I see your town being a town in the $25,000 to $30,000 a year in probably tax credits, and maybe about $600,000 to $700,000 in revenue, $500,000 in revenue utilizing the card. One more thing which is important, we've been talking about it forever, to go to Chilton Hospital and try to distribute the cards at Chilton Hospital. They can be, keep them in town. Don't let them go home. Keep them spending the money in your town. So they get credits. They get a check from us at the end of the year. And that's one thing we always talked about and we never really materialized.
Yeah, I think in the past when we tried to implement that was right around the same time that they were
changing hand, yeah.
With Atlantic, yeah.
Correct.
So I believe that's why that never got off the ground.
I don't have it on this sheet, but I got on one of my other sheets of the people that have earned, the top 5 that have earned credits, and it goes anywhere from $1,000 to $600-$700. Those are the top people that have earned credits. So it's possible to earn that much. Just keep spending in town and just keep looking for the local merchants before you go anywhere else. So
I'm sorry, did you say what was the top resident or family in?
I can give you the name and information privately.
Right.
I can send it to you.
But what did you say the number was? Did you just say that?
About 1,000, 600 to 1,000 of top 5.
That's a lot of pizza.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is some automotive stuff in there too, not necessarily pizza. So
A lot of oil changes.
yeah, so a lot of oil changes. Right.
Good.
So if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to.
I'm going to tell you a story. I had a company party at my house, so I had to cater it. So I said, well, this would be perfect to use this Pequannock. So we had the whole thing catered by Amedis. So I can't wait for next year's.
Oh, good. So you got your credit.
Well, no, it falls into this year's cycle. So
Right.
So I did get my credit.
But I mean, you got to post it.
Yeah,
Because some of the restaurants do not include catering because apparently that's already very low. But I'm glad they picked up the
Amedis
card.
included the
Excellent.
Yeah, many of
Happy about
everything.
that.
Excellent.
So it's a great program. Again, I wish we could help you some more. Unfortunately, most of us up here are very busy all the time, and we just don't have the time to knock on doors and so forth. The person that would probably know the most is Melissa, because she obviously is dealing with real estate and knows what's going on more than any of the rest of us up here do, right? Right,
Yeah.
Melissa?
Yeah, from time to time, though, I have gotten emails from other council members if they happen to be talking to somebody, and we pass that along. But yeah, I mean, that's something we can talk about, whether there is a way to do something internally with a point person, it might be
Well, I'd
a
be
conversation
curious
for
of
another
the
day.
feedback of the merchants.
Yes.
Those top 4. What are they saying?
We were hoping to actually get one of them here tonight.
Well,
but-
I invited, since I speak to him a lot, since he's the top producer, I invited Joe from Bodies to be here tonight. They say if I can make it, I'll be there for sure. Not only I believe he loves the program, but also what he does he's giving out his own cards, Pequannock cards. He actually bought, and I did that about 2 years ago, he bought 500 cards with his name in the back. We asked for permission, of course, but they pick Pequannock cards, and he's giving them to all his customers. And every 3 or 4 days, every week, he sends me a list of people that register their card, because what he does, he gives out forms to his own customers, so patrons say, hey, register this card, and then he takes a picture and sends it to us, and we register online. So he's really helping increasing the number of registrations.
Well, I think Ameddi's probably does so well because the other pizzerias are not participating.
Yes.
So if I'm going to stop for pizza, where am I going to go? I'm going to go to Ameddi's, right?
Ameddi's or Cosmos. Carmine from Cosmos is a very nice guy. So, and he opened up a little restaurant in the back. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's...
So I'm just curious. I'm wondering how much the program is just a program. Are people really staying in town for that? You say that usage rate is good, but to me that seems really low on the residents that we have in town.
You're talking about
the families. The families registered. I thought that was a really low number.
A lot of them are registered, but they probably aren't utilizing the card because they forget.
Yeah, but I don't think that's as many registered.
And
how many families are there? Like 8,000?
No, there is 8,000 people. You have about 3,700. You have about 3,700 families.
In terms of households, we're if you discount Cedar Crest, about 4,000.
We have to take Cedar Crest out of that, unless there's something you could do at Cedar Crest.
And again, I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the reason why the usage was, I think you said 2 years ago was probably our highest year. I think we, as a town, need to decide whether we're going to promote it a little bit more, and how that's going to be done. Is it going to be done through internally, or because it's hard to get the volunteers
do the realtors
to
promote it on the move-ins, because when people move out,
but that's something that I wanted to maybe discuss.
Like welcome,
maybe not.
Are they welcome?
We're doing a welcome package, I think, for new residents that.
It'll have the card information, yes.
Yes, and I know in the past we did the tax bill insert, which increased it 2 years ago, but now we haven't done that in the last 2 years for.
If we can do that, everybody does that. It's a great promoter, and people do read it, and they open the tax bill basically.
Yeah.
I think we can increase. I think that, like I said, your town is about $25,000 to $30,000, and we are tracking this year now for the first 3 months. And if we continue like this, we'll be at around $25,000, $26,000. Because we are really not doing that much. Let's face it. I'm telling you the truth. So we should be. If we do a little bit of a push, we can reach that $30,000 mark, which would be very sweet for the town.
Yeah, we just have to figure out a way to push it more. And I did, talking about feedback from business owners, I have talked to some business owners. I mean, some of them love it, like Barty's and whatnot, but yes, not a lot, but a few of the business owners did say to me, I need to see that the town is promoting it more.
I've heard that as well.
And I did hear that, and that's why we lost one or two, because they felt like they expected more from us, just as
we sold it like we sell in every town as a township program. Pequannock is not our brand, it's your brand. So that's what we're trying to get it done, and that's why the attraction is.
So I don't know if anyone has any other questions or thoughts or ideas, or whether it's for another day.
I use it when I can.
Can we get statistics on how many new clients you had, not businesses, but residents after each of the tax bill?
Right, do you see an uptick in?
Because there's a cost to us in that. And if you're only getting 20 new residents out of it, it's a very high cost per resident.
Right.
If you're getting 800 new sign-ups.
Well, it's also they use the card more. The existing residents tend to remember to use the card, so if they see that, they go, the husband says to the wife, are you using this card? She goes, oh, I always forget. And then you see an uptick in business.
True.
So it's really the usage that you want to increase. But not only that, Dave, what it does also, it creates an opportunity for us to go out and talk to the merchants and say, look what the township is doing. And you can't put a price to that, because now they see, hey, look, the township is buying me, they're sending this out, I'm going to sign up. So these are the things that they want to see, whether it's the tax bill, in the flying tax bill, or maybe a full-page paper ads in the local paper.
And I know the Economic Development Committee has used...
on her Facebook page.
Who?
The button, Colleen?
Yes, she will do that, and she has in the past, and we
But
just
you
need
need
to
it
get
as like
that.
on the side where it's a button or something, not where it
Okay.
just scrolls down.
That might be,
Maybe if you want to think about creating a brand-new Facebook just for this, and we'll put all the information on the participating merchants on it, and we'll share all that information.
See, we have a Facebook page that's run by a local realtor.
Realtor.
It's not an official
unofficial,
page, but it's
yeah.
where everybody goes. They don't go to another page.
we don't need another page.
They don't need another page.
We just
They go to
need
this
that
page.
on there.
Really?
That's where they complain about everything. So that's where they go. So that's where you want to be. You don't want to be on another page.
Yeah, and truthfully, our Economic Development Committee, they have used their budget from their committee sometimes to place local ads, not just promoting the tax reward program, but promoting a shop local campaign around the holidays, and I think that's mentioned in that ad.
Okay.
Yeah, we need an ad that pops up on the side of that Facebook page.
That's a good idea.
And some signage on the, lampposts. You have very nice lampposts. I mean, people would kill for a downtown that you guys have. I got to tell you, I go to places where they have shopping strip mall after strip mall, and they don't have a downtown, including my town, Marlboro, New Jersey. They love to have a downtown, and I think you can probably utilize it. If you have some banners with shop with Pequannock, that would be great. If you can do that, if you can find the budget for that.
But just remember, there's a cost to us for doing that.
Yeah, they cost a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But you had it done, no? When did you have them done?
Well,
Because you had a bunch of signage outside.
we actually tied it
welcome to
in with the
Pequannock.
anniversary,
Yeah, the 250 anniversary, and then we put the other one back up.
and the merchants
They were
paid
almost
for it.
100.
Oh, the merchants pay for it? Okay.
They're not cheap.
The customized ones are expensive, yeah.
Right, right. Do you have any other
So let
questions?
us, I'll tell you what, let us think about it a little bit, and then maybe we can have a discussion next meeting of maybe what we can do or not do.
Yeah, 'cause
But
I
just
got
remember,
an
there's
idea
a
about
cost
those
to this.
flags.
Yeah.
There's a cost to this.
Maybe we can ask people to sponsor it. Maybe I can talk to some of the people in town, but I don't know.
That's how we did it the last time. We had a sponsor on the back of it.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
that's a
And
good
it worked.
idea. Yeah, we did that with the cards initially, too. But I do think we still have a supply of cards, right? Carol, do you know if there's cards still in the clerk's office?
There are some, I don't know how many.
Okay.
But it'd be nice to have the app, like you say, on the phone, because you lose
Yeah.
the cards.
And the
a
only
family
other-
member forgets them. If you
They
have
can
it
use
on
their phone numbers.
Yeah.
They don't need to carry the card.
Right. And the only other thing I have to say
More user-friendly than others.
is the residents that do use the card, they love the program. So it's, it's either out of sight, out of mind, they're not using it, but the ones that use it love it. So, and it seems like the back end stuff is working seamlessly, right? Like there's no issues with the way.
The tax collector, or the
Yeah,
sending of the
I'm just
money.
wondering, how's that working?
That works fine.
We never had a problem. You guys have a very competent person. I forgot her name right now, but she's very on top. And she-
Lori's, we've done it enough times that it has kind of become
it's automatic.
rote. We still have an issue with a couple residents get credits who haven't paid their taxes.
Lori asked me to send that chart, not together, so you guys are going to make your own decision whether you want to credit or not.
So that takes some, doing it on the back end, but that's not a big issue. I don't want to speak for council. I guess my concern is, all the things that they're looking for have
Right.
costs.
Right.
And when you're talking about, trying to increase the total tax rebates by, I don't know, $5,000, are we going to spend $2,000?
Right.
So that a third of our residents can get, cumulatively $5,000 reduced on their taxes.
I would think the economic committee could maybe do a registration table at the hoedown.
Or pass that
We have
information.
done that.
Yeah.
We actually, I was there one year. I mean, these are all things that we have done. We need a little bit of.
Do it again.
But it might be time to do it again, because it has been a couple of years, and as I think about it, it is true that I think it's just more promoting awareness in ways that
Right.
might not necessarily cost us money. It's Facebook, it's...
Yeah, the hoedown doesn't cost you anything.
It's going to the street fair or the hoedown and having a table and reminding people. And then once in a while, doing if EDC or Chamber or whatever wants to get involved in a newspaper ad or
There was no
whatever.
thought about doing it across town.
I think, that's it. I think there'd be more willingness, to expend resources if either the chamber or the 18 businesses that are receiving benefit were to participate in some of the
Right.
costs of advertising.
Right.
You know, if we share this cost among a whole bunch of parties, and the township is the only one not receiving any financial gain here.
No, but there are other type of gains that, I mean, like you want to...
Agreed, which is why we supported it and put it in
Right.
place in the first place.
Right.
But to keep asking the residents, the taxpayers, to pay for something that benefits only a portion of them, in my mind, that it isn't fair on an ongoing basis.
Right.
But if the 18 businesses were to, if they want a block ad, and we'd be happy to put that together, I think economic development would probably throw in,
I think the most important thing...
$100 if everyone wanted to share the cost.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a good idea, too.
The most important thing right now that I think we could be looking for is to have, just the first item on the thing, have a point person that we can talk to and that can really help the program. Like one person that will spend a couple hours a week. I understand that's a cost as well.
It doesn't cost anything for Melissa.
I understand, but...
Committee should
I don't
step
have
up.
time
The
now,
committee
yeah.
should rotate that
But-
or appoint somebody or something.
I mean, we
But,
can try to figure out ways that possibly, it depends what the point person in town is expected to do, whether they can, whether that's something Glenn can help with or whatever. It depends what that
Well,
Right.
role
either the
is.
chamber or
Right.
the committee.
But you also have the chamber and the EDC that we can utilize. a
When you
little
talk about volunteers, unfortunately,
I know.
that's exactly what it is, and that never plays right at the end of the day. I'll be honest. So
bit. Yeah, we'll have to, like Rich said,
Okay.
we'll have to think about it, come up with ideas, but we wanted to at least have something to talk around.
Great.
See how the program was going. We'll continue to get feedback and
great,
hopefully promote.
always available.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? No? Okay, next is reports from volunteers. Do we have any volunteers in our community? No? Oh, you're leaving. That would like to say, no? Okay. All right, and next is public comment. This public comment period would be limited to a total of 30 minutes. An additional period for public comment is reserved for later in the meeting. Any individuals requested? Yep. Please come up to the podium, address your name and address for the I'm sorry, please state your name and your address for the record, and if I didn't say this already, it's limited to 3 minutes, so go ahead.
Okay.
But you can talk more.
Yeah.
I'll limit it.
That part.
My name is Karen Killian. My address is 164 Boulevard, Pompton Plains, New Jersey. I'm here on behalf of the Piranha's Parent Association, along with Leon Frame and Kim Carbone. We are on the parent board, and we just wanted to show up and represent that we appreciate all of the time and research that you've been putting into the project with the lanes. I have a lot of stats about the teams. We have 160 registered swimmers. We've been increasing 18% every year for the last 5 years. The program is growing. It's a niche sport. However, it's becoming more popular. I'll skip down to, I understand that the funding is in question for the lanes, and we would just like to represent that we're here to discuss any possible help we can give to fund the project. We have ideas that we can either share with you, or if Parks and Rec is the right venue for us to be speaking with, we'd like to know. And on behalf of the Piranhas, we just wanted to say thank you, and we're sure you'll give us a safe place to swim next year.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? No? Okay. All right, since there's no additional public comments, we'll continue on with the agenda. Next is public hearings. We don't have any public hearings scheduled for this evening. So next will be ordinances for introductions. We have one. Ms. Marsh, would you read the ordinance?
This is ordinance number 2017-11, a bond ordinance providing for improvements to the recreation utility in and by the Township of Pequannock in the County of Morris, New Jersey, appropriating $120,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $120,000 in bonds or notes of the Township to finance the cost thereof.
Okay. Mr. Holberg, do you have any comments on this?
Yeah, just based on the last meeting's discussion, we broke this into two different pieces. This ordinance will provide funding from the utility, which is paid out of PV Park fees, and it's slightly more than half of the total. The other 100,000 will come from current, and based on Rich's comments, desire to pay it back as part of the 2018 capital budget, not actually issue long-term debt. We're not actually doing an ordinance for that. We're doing it by emergency appropriation, which is required to be paid off in full in next year's budget. So that is your assurance that it will get paid off.
Okay, so that's the authorization of the emergency appropriation
Yes.
for demolition and replacement. 2017-140.
Correct.
Right.
So that will be done by resolution rather than ordinance. I'm comfortable doing that because emergencies are limited to items that come during the year they could not have foreseen as part of the budget process. The engineering report that I sent around earlier is information we didn't have previously with regards to what needed to be done to this facility. So for that component, I'm comfortable with the emergency appropriation mechanism, and it kind of solves the issue of not issuing debt in the current fund.
Okay, so I just want to mention that, just remember, we just took $100,000 out of next year's budget, correct?
That's essential, yes. By passing this resolution, you're committing to paying this off as part of next year's budget. Our capital program overall, when you think of the total capital that we have,
right,
we're going to pay this off, so you'll have 100,000 less within the capital, the other capital cash items that we would normally do. So, something else will not get done. But we don't have, as of right now, the long-term plan doesn't have any major purchases like we did this year. Where we had.
But didn't we have a group in here looking to expand one of the rooms in this place?
We did.
We did, yes, and that was 400 and some odd.
Well, that's a scope much larger than even a...
Okay, I just want to mention that. I mean, I'm good with doing this. I looked at the report, and I see that it is starting to fall apart. So as long as we're not taking out any major long-term debt other than what we're taking out of the utility, the Parks and Rec utility, and hopefully we'll be able to recoup some of that money with PV Park fees, I'm okay with it. I just want everybody to remember that we also just took $100,000 out of our capital budget for next year.
That's accurate.
And by replacing this whole thing, I mean, it's going to take care of everything.
But this is the long-term fix. We've been band-aiding this
for
several years now.
Right.
This is the 25-year fix.
Right.
This
This includes the steel columns and everything else.
Well, we're actually taking all that out. We're going to a floating dock
You're going to
system.
floating. But that all comes out,
It'll make those swim lanes to regulation, the 8 feet.
And they will end up 8 feet, yes.
All right. Do you, any other comments from council?
No, I think Dave's long, thorough email today explained all the details.
Especially the pictures.
Yeah, the
The pictures were good.
That's not good.
No.
Pictures were good. All right, if there's no other questions on this, is there a motion to introduce this ordinance on the first reading?
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number 2017-11.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Phelan?
Yes.
Ms. Winterfield?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes.
And maybe just for the audience, for the piranhas, could we just explain what introduction means as opposed to approval? So
Right, so they
There's
know.
another part.
It's another layer.
An ordinance requires several steps. So council has introduced it. It will be published in a newspaper. There'll be a hearing at which people can say yes or no, we don't like it or we do like it. At that point, council, after the hearing, council can adopt the ordinance and then money will be in place.
Will that be at the next scheduled council meeting?
I think so.
Should be.
It should be. I'm assuming the advertising is Yeah, I think it should be.
Had you guys not come to this meeting, we would have had nobody, so thank you for coming. I'm sorry, we have Stacy in the back. Sorry, Stacy.
Just so that you understand, so that you know, it's just not approved tonight. It's just it's introduced. You know, so you know,
But it looks good.
It's a step, and just to know that
And as
you know.
you can see, it has full support, so
Yeah.
I don't see anything changing.
Yeah, and if there's anything that you want to do to fundraise to contribute to it, that's totally on your volunteer basis at this point.
We always like that, though.
Yeah, because you never know what's going to happen when we rip it out, what you find.
Yeah.
Right? You never know.
You never know when you need
It
more
might
money.
cost less.
That's right.
Yeah, it never costs less.
Yeah.
Wishful thinking.
All right. Let's see. All right, what's next on the agenda? Oh, wait, I went wrong page.
Resolutions for approval.
All right, next on the agenda is resolutions. Ms. Marsh, can I ask you to read resolutions by title?
Beginning with Resolution R 2017-139, authorizing purchases from designated vendors awarded contracts by the HGAC National Cooperative Purchasing Program. That is for SCBA Cascade Air Compressor. R 2017-140, authorizing an emergency appropriation for demolition and replacement of the PV Park swim lanes. 2017-141, authorizing a professional services agreement between the Township of Pequannock and C. William Balkley Jr. LLC. And R 2017, by the way, for the record, the certification of funds on that has a typo. It's been corrected. The actual amount is $5,000. R 2017-142, approving payment of the itemized claims is set forth on the July 21st, 2017 bill list.
Okay, so Resolution 139 is for company number 2 to replace their Cascade system. The current Cascade system they had is old and falling apart. In fact, it was just repaired again last week, I believe. So that was all part of, yeah, it was. Yeah,
It's for the fire department to replace the Cascade system, which
It
happens to be located
Right.
there.
at Fire Company number 2 firehouse.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
It's incorrect.
I actually talked to a fireman, because he works in my office, to get the whole background on that, because I wasn't sure what the whole Cascade system was, so I didn't have to email you.
It's what fills
It's
the
for
air
the
bottles.
oxygen, yeah, right.
No, for the air, not oxygen.
I mean, the air bottles.
don't want to
yeah.
bring
That's what I mean, the air bottles. So I got that, but the one question was, does Fire Company 1 use that one?
Yes, they
Because
do.
I wasn't,
It is the
we weren't
fire
sure if it
department.
was one.
It is the
And the
fire
way-
department's Cascade system that is located at company number 2 and has always been located
And
at
it's
company
utilized by
number
Right.
2.
The fixed Cascade system is
Right.
at Company 2. That's what this is. It actually sucks air in from the outside
Right.
and puts it in bottles. Company 1 has a system on their engine, on the rescue, which is filled from the one that is fixed
Okay.
and is mobile and can go to a fire scene to fill bottles on scene.
Right,
So between those two pieces, both fire companies are involved in the process of keeping
Got it.
breathing air available. The fixed one is one place and the mobile one is with Company 1.
And my
So what would you do? Would you take the truck over to company 2, fill up the truck, then bring it over,
Every
fill up
Sunday.
your bottles, and then
Okay.
go back there and fill up? Okay. So
And
you
my-
don't bring the bottles over there, you bring the truck? Makes a lot more sense, yes.
And the other question people might have, the reason for this is because obviously it's an antiquated system and repairs are probably
Yeah,
costly and it's time.
it's probably about 25 years old. It no longer pumps to its capacity, so that the bottles you're filling aren't able to fill as many air packs, the bottles that the firefighters use, as it should.
Right.
So you end up, it's not uncommon for Company 1 to spend 3 hours trying to fill their truck
Right.
off this older system. It should take 20 minutes. So
Is this, the old one is diesel and this new one is electric, I don't know, or is it vice versa?
I think it's vice versa.
Vice versa, the new one's, well, it would make sense, diesel would be more powerful, I would think.
Good. Any other comments from council members on any of the resolutions?
No, I'm good.
All right, is there a motion to adopt these
I'll make a
resolutions?
motion to approve Resolution R 2017-139 through 142.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Phelan?
Yes.
Ms. Winterfield?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. All right, items for discussion. I guess we don't have any on the agenda for this evening. So next door, reports and notices. Everyone saw the reports and notices. Are there any comments or questions on any of those? Okay. And next, we'll go right into the manager's report.
I have no formal report tonight. However, work has started on the water tank, so if you haven't
Okay.
been up there, take a drive by, but they're just doing clearing at this point, but progress.
When do you anticipate that coming online?
We still have to award the pipeline bid. Everything should come together for next spring. Next May is what the timeframe is for in-service. Also, a number of trees were taken down at the rear of the Henning property, allowing for new fencing and the bleachers that we had discussed to be put along the first baseline of that corner field.
So Dave, construction on the water tower will continue now through the winter?
Yeah, they'll keep going. It's their hope to actually be done with the pouring of the concrete before freezing, so by the end of November. There's then some additional finalizing site work that needs to be done in the spring. As long as weather holds, their timetable seems reasonable.
Where was the pipe going through from the tank to Mountain Avenue?
The street.
Down Mountain Ave,
Right.
West Parkway, up Sunset. And only Sunset to about Farm Road, which is where the high-pressure, low-pressure valve is.
Okay. So I had more pressure?
You're, I don't know if you're, no, you're not on high pressure. You're on a low side.
No wonder my bill is less. Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? Kathy, you want to give a report?
Well, I have questions, probably more than a report. We had our environmental commission meeting, and we didn't have a quorum. And we also have a person who hasn't come for over a year. What is the process of removing someone?
The committee sends a letter to the council advising the council that the person, there's not been attendance for a year. That is past the maximum under the statute, the chair of the committee.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
And then the council will act at that point.
Okay, all right. It may not be worth it at this point because I think it's going to expire soon, but it probably should have been acted upon sooner.
Yep.
And then it should have been replaced, but it really just came to my attention that that was happening. Carol, did the thing go out to all the committees about their minutes and their...
It did not. I'm working on it.
That well, okay, all right. The skate park engineering meeting and all that, is that still August 9th or we don't know?
Yes, it is.
It is, okay.
Yes.
Is that like, do you know the time? Is that like an...
I don't, we have a time for the day portion. I don't think we've firmed up a time for the evening public session. And I've been playing telephone tag with the guy from Pilar.
Do you think that's pretty firm, though? That's the date?
Yes.
You think that's...
Yep.
Okay.
That's, to your point, so that's a firm date for the afternoon, but it'll also be firm at some point
It's
for
going to
the
be the same
public?
date.
Yeah, they'll only
I
travel
just
one
don't-
day.
and
Okay.
it will be
Yeah.
here in the
We should
evening.
probably
I
get
just
that
don't
out.
have time.
Okay.
Right.
All right, might be 6, might be 7, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
As soon as you know.
And I don't know if anybody I got a call today from JCP&L. I guess there's going to be an outage on Thursday.
I didn't get that.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, it's going to be on Sunset, Chatfield, and I forget what other road
Look,
around.
if it's Chatfield, it's my road too.
I know, well, that's what they said, and it was an 800 number that I normally don't pick up, but I said, let me pick it up, and then it said, stay on if you want to hear it again, so I listened again, because I couldn't believe
They
it.
give a time or?
From 8 in the morning to 11 at night,
What?
and if it
Wow.
rains, it'll be the next day.
Yep.
So I don't know, did they notify the township when they said there's some
I didn't
equipment
hear a
that
word
they
about
have to
that.
change out?
I haven't seen anything on that.
I know, and that
They
our
normally
representative
would.
comes all the time and stuff.
Are you 100% positive?
Yes, I heard the message.
Well, you know.
And I just wondered, does the town notify you so that you don't start getting calls about,
That'd be nice.
exactly.
We should look into that. Yeah.
I'll contact Addie tomorrow.
Would you send us a...
Yes, just so we know.
Yes.
Because that's...
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting call that I got.
And when is it supposed to be?
This Thursday, I believe. Thursday. And then if the weather's bad Thursday, it'll be Friday.
What constitutes bad? 95, 100, what?
I think rain.
Oh,
I don't
so
know
it's
what's
okay
bad. That's
with
true. What's
95.
bad? I don't know. It says they have, it'll be intermittent, there's equipment to be switched out, and it was, yeah.
You can come to my house, Rich, and watch the news.
I figured I'll take a shower the night before.
That's not the problem. It's all the gizmos that are running in my house. I'm gonna have to.
Oh, that's
shut them
right.
down. Jeez.
Back in January?
Not yet. Working on it. Working on it.
Okay, and I guess I heard some talk before the meeting. I guess we have to have resolution to affordable housing secretary. I've been getting some calls from some local realtors and about asking about and I had no idea that there wasn't an appointed secretary. So
Well, Evelyn left at the end of last month. We are trying to get critical items taken care of. I know a couple things have been referred to Bob. Chris will be handling
He's a designate? Okay.
some things in the interim until we have a permanent
And are you
replacement, which
picking
I
up the
am working
voicemail?
on.
Like there's a message that you call that's for, and it's still Gail's voice. And it still says to call, it still says to send her an email.
Right.
To her,
Oh, really?
Gail DeGora, blah, blah, blah.
I was unaware of that, so we'll fix that.
Yeah, because I was flabbergasted when I told the realtor, and I said, well, let me just check myself. I thought I asked Carol, and she's like, no, I don't think so. I said, oh, well, I just told them wrong. Chris, I guess you're the backup.
So Dave, can we hire a service for that?
For a lot of the secretarial work, I mean, the record keeping and the, notifications and the calculations, yes. There is a requirement for us to have employed a municipal housing
Liaison.
So is that the
who has to
secretary?
be an employee.
Doesn't have to be the secretary.
It has to be an employee?
So we do have to have an
Yes.
employee.
As the liaison.
Okay.
But
That
they don't
doesn't
have to serve the role that we've, as we have functioned for many years, where that one person was, managing the committee and doing all their, paperwork. The paperwork part of it, which is the vast majority of the time-consuming part of it, can be outsourced. And there are firms out there that peddle that service. A lot of them are housing advocate firms, and they're in this business not to provide service as much as they are to, advance the
Promote
cause.
affordable housing.
Yeah.
Is it expensive, though? It probably is expensive. No? Or is it per application? Like they charge you per application, or is it a flat fee? Who does that, Montville?
The only,
Well, around here, Montville actually is one of the rare towns, they have an in-house person there. I know that, I think Riverdale uses an outside.
But they want to do any sharing with us?
yeah, is there anyone,
Yeah, that would
any
be-
local town that'd be willing to,
Share that.
share?
That might be-
Yeah.
We talked about shared
I
services.
don't know, I could reach out.
If Montville is,
If they're doing it well, I don't know.
yeah. I mean,
Maybe we should reach out to
we
their
need,
council.
we really need someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Gail,
Even though we love you, Chris.
Evelyn did a great job, but, she was new and she really didn't understand it thoroughly. I mean, she was
Getting there.
starting to get really good at it, but, she retired and,
Well, we're obligated.
Though we can't bring back the person before that.
Okay, moving right along.
All right, well, that was just one of my things.
No, I know.
And talk about affordable housing, the Glenn's management reached out to me about their reimbursement. Is there paperwork that has to be signed, I think?
Yeah, she didn't get it?
They said it's still outstanding, so I don't know where we're at. Yeah.
What was that? Reimbursement for what?
Their reimbursement.
Oh.
They're MSA.
Because that was weeks ago. We had called out, I knew they'd changed management companies. Called to make sure the address we were using was correct.
And there was a temp. Remember, there's a temp
Yes,
working there.
and
Yeah.
we finally got that straightened out, and so we're sending it to, the 97 Chatfield address now, and we had an old person reference, so we changed that. We did the PO, we sent it out, it said, just sign it and send it back.
So you
That
think,
was
well, then I'll
3
follow
weeks
back
ago.
with them.
It was
All right.
before last council.
So you think they're sitting on it? Okay. Okay, I'll tell them.
I know this, if they can't find it, I'll do it.
You'll resend it?
Yeah.
Don't do anything until you hear back from me. Okay, that's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Ken. Dave, do you have anything?
Unfortunately, I don't have anything. Parks and Rec doesn't meet during the summer months unless we really need to. And I'm really not sure what's going on yet with fair housing for Wednesday. I think it might be canceled, so that's it.
Okay. And Rich, do you have anything?
Yeah, planning board met. I don't know if you guys saw the letter in your mailbox. They are good with the pipeline ordinance. Company 1 met last Friday. Company 2 met last Thursday. I think somewhere around that time. I lose track of time. Both of them are working on planning their company picnic. And Company 2 is about ready to place the order for their new truck. I believe they have to meet with the salesman one more time. So the discussion with Company 2 is where should they have the picnic? I told them Rockledge Park is a great place. Anyway, that's it.
All right, that's it? All right, I just had a couple of things, one or two are questions. I had a question, I don't know if you can answer this. There's a couple of houses that are on the market now, or that are on the substantially damaged list, so they have to be elevated. And according to the current calendar, they'd have to be elevated really now, by like August of this year. If the house is on the market and it's owned by a bank and somebody wants to buy it and they know they have to elevate it, but obviously can't elevate it by August, what would the process be? And can they, if they're not in a current grant application, here it's like a catch-22. You have to elevate now and spend $100,000, and you're not going to get, or whatever it costs, and you're not going to get reimbursed because you're not in the grant application. So just wondering, is there any thoughts, or has there been any talk about how that could work? But the reason the buyers aren't buying the houses is because they know this and they're trying to figure out.
No, I mean, don't we pick a certain community of houses? I mean, they may be 3 years before we pick that certain area for the grant.
So that, our elevation plan, which, shows what neighborhood is going to be addressed in what grant application. I had a resident today of Oakwood, and I said, so here's a plan, but even at that, there's no guarantee that we will actually receive a grant. So, homeowners need to plan based on what they can realistically do. If a homeowner would come to us with a rational plan on how to attack it and say, look, I want to buy this, I know I can't do it in 30 days, but, in 18 months or whatever, here's my plan.
Well, yeah, in this case they would, because it's what they might.
We can't pick and choose.
And that's why I'm asking.
And we can't, see, the grant process, while, we're happy to do that on behalf of residents, we can't use that to kind of not enforce the rules about substantial damage. If we have already received, we now have a grant that we are actively now working on that section of Roosevelt and Madison. A homeowner there who is now up against deadline, we could say, okay, you know what, you're part of this program, it's going to get raised, it's all fine. But someone who's not even going to get into a potential grant application until 2018, 19, 20, we can't use that to say, okay, we're going to not hold you to the standard that we've committed to be part of NFIP.
Right.
We will lose our Class 5 rating if we don't enforce the rules that are in place.
Right. Yeah, no, I
So we're not going to jeopardize, insurance for everybody because there's, hardships
right.
in a couple individual
Yeah, and like I
cases.
said, I'm talking about someone that's trying to buy it from the bank, or what, it's on the market, they'll buy it,
They can buy it and raise it.
and they can raise it with their
And
own
we'll
money.
know
work
that,
with them on the time frame of raising it.
Right.
Joe just submitted a question to FEMA today, asking if a bank-owned property is eligible for
Grant. Okay.
money.
So we don't know that. Okay.
No, I don't have an answer to that.
Okay.
But theoretically, if the rules as I understand them, the grant goes with the property.
Right.
Regardless of owner.
Right, that's my
It
understanding.
shouldn't preclude banks.
Right.
Unless FEMA has some rule against it. In theory, I think a bank should be able to take advantage of that. So the bank is probably in a better position to
Elevate it.
hold on to it, elevate it, and sell it at a better price at some future point than a homeowner is.
Right.
But we'll have a definitive answer to that.
Yeah. Yeah, because the homeowner that's buying, a homeowner that's buying a particular property now that has to be elevated now, they're not going to buy it, most likely. That's why I'm trying to figure out, how that can work. All right. What else do I have?
I guess they need to understand, though, that there's a possibility that house may never get grant money.
Correct. Yeah, they understand.
So if they can buy it for a steal and then raise it and make a profit, why don't they do that?
Yeah,
Like I said, the bank's in a better position. And everyone saw the letter, everyone saw that letter back from, to Congressman Freelandheisen regarding the flood maps, right? Remember a while ago that we have to, that was back in earlier July.
Oh, yeah, right.
It was a response to
Yes.
our question about going back to using the old maps until the new maps are adopted.
Correct.
And the answer was no, we have to use the new maps, the preliminary maps.
Are we ever going to have like a meeting in our
and I
town
guess-
like it did in Wayne, or is it
Yeah,
just-
that's my other question. Are we in the appeal period
Yeah,
now?
right?
Not officially yet, no.
Okay. All right, so we don't know.
We're in nowhere land.
Well, I believe Passaic County is still in La La
Yeah.
Land because
Yeah, my understanding is that FEMA didn't want to move forward with the Morris County meeting
Right.
until
they got Passaic County
that is
resolved.
resolved.
So what are you talking, 5 years?
Could be longer, 10.
We don't know.
And
Just like the tunnel. What's that, 25
we're
years?
hoping that some of the Passaic County things that they need to resolve
They resolve
may
that.
work it better for Morris County.
Right, so if they resolve it for them a
Correct.
certain way, they would resolve it for us a certain way.
Correct.
All right. And what else? I guess the only other thing I was going to mention was, I don't know if any of the other council members are going, but I know Kathy and I tomorrow are supposed to go up to
Oh, yeah, I forgot
Kinnelon
about that,
for
yeah.
the Morris County freeholders are having like on-the-road meeting to come present a plaque
That needs
to
to
the
be affixed
township.
to the Martinberry House.
That needs to be, yeah, so.
For giving us the grant money last year, not
Yeah.
this money, but the one before.
Right. You are going, right? Did you get to talk to Ed today?
It's going to California to his son's getting married, but Jay Wanzik's going and Dave Stout.
Because actually, as of right now, I was going to try to go there, but I also have an EDC meeting, so.
Well, if you can't, it's okay, because I'm going to go, Dave's going to go as the Historic Society, and then Jay's going to go, so.
Okay.
Be three of us.
I wanted to see.
We'll
who's going.
represent, we'll get the plaque.
Okay.
Be 5 minutes. We'll be done.
Hey, could someone send an email about the Eagle Scout ceremony this Sunday? I haven't gotten it.
I'll forward it.
Yeah, please forward that, yeah. Because I'm not going to be able to attend that, but I'm going to send a letter.
I hadn't planned on being there this Sunday.
I'm actually away all next week. I'm leaving on
I
Saturday.
don't know, is it Sunday or Saturday?
The Eagle Scout, it's a last minute thing. They apologized for, they handed it to me at a meeting last week. They apologized because he applied for the Eagle very late. It's a very last minute
Who
thing.
is this, Jim?
What was his name?
Nicholas Colicchio.
Who was it, Carl?
Nicholas Colicchio.
Yeah.
It's usually on Sundays, guys.
So are we doing a proclamation there? or-
Yes, Carol just did one. I think it's...
Yeah, we signed that, Dave, remember?
Right, I
Yeah, we just signed it, yeah.
Yeah, we just found out about it. Kathy actually
one
had
of us
gotten
should be
it.
there.
Yes, but send it to everyone,
somebody should.
because I'm not going to be able to be there, and I don't know who else can go.
Between myself, Dave, and Kathy.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Sounds good. And we're having an ED, Economic Development meeting tomorrow, and I believe the township manager is going to attend that meeting. Okay? All right. Next on the agenda is public comment. If anyone wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized and come to the microphone and provide your name and address for the record. Anyone? No? All right, next on the... Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, can I have the email.
Okay.
It's July 30th at the First Reformed Church in Pompton Plains at 2 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
But I'll forward it.
Very good. All right, we don't have any minutes to approve tonight, so next we're going to go into closed session next, right?
I'll make a motion to go into
So let's
closed
make a motion, and I
I'll
need a second?
I'll second.
All right, at this time, the public portion of the meeting, I'm sorry. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? At this meeting time, the public portion of the meeting is recessed for the closed session.